Hi, I'm Ken Jr. and welcome to TrainWorld TV. Here you'll find the latest and greatest in model trains. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. And if you're new to our channel, we're glad you're here, and I invite you to click the subscribe button and hit that bell notification so you'll never miss a video. Now, we'd also love to send you exclusive deals and special announcements that you won't find anywhere else. So be sure to sign up for our emails, TW Text, and stay connected with us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. Don't forget, you can shop online at TrainWorld.com for all your model train needs. Now, without further ado, enjoy today's video. All right, and good evening, everybody, and welcome to TrainWorld TV. We have another great episode, and two of my great friends here. We have Tony Koch from Model Railroad News. How you doing, Tony?
I'm doing good, Ken. How's your summer? I can't believe it's August already. In fact, mid-August.
Getting ready for Christmas now. That's it. And we have the man of the hour, Curtis Koch. How you doing?
Good. How are you guys doing?
All right.
Tony said, I can't believe it's almost September when you think about it.
That's right.
Fun summer so far. Fun summer indeed.
And Curtis from Broadway Limited, and he's got a lot of stuff for us, and lots of good stuff. So Curtis Koch, appreciate you being on tonight. Appreciate it. And I don't even know where to start. Tony, where I don't know.
I was saying before we went on that it's like there's so much stuff, and they're always showing new products, the early samples. There's HO, there's N. Behind me here, you see I'm working on Model Railroad News. That's the first run of the Challenger, the 4664s in scale, and my guys were nuts over those. But why don't we kick off with some HO stuff, Ken? I bet there's some new things happening there.
All right, Curtis. HO good for you?
Yeah, HO's great. We got some really cool brass hybrid steamers that are coming your way. Starting off with the Santa Fe 2900, a sister locomotive for my background here with I have the Hudsons as my background, but the Santa Fe 2900s, especially for those of you who like to model Santa Fe in the Southwest during the golden years, or if you just want an excursion locomotive like the 2926 here. There's a lot of really great options coming into HO scale for this model. This is what you're looking at here are the renders of the 2926 as it appears today. Of course, the 2926, for those of you who might be unaware, is the locomotive that has been restored to operation based in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And we were really happy to work with New Mexico Heritage Rail, the group that owns and operates the steam locomotive. They've got tons of amazing stuff going on. They were kind enough to give us reference photos, drawings, and a couple years ago, Aiden, our sound engineer, actually climbed up onto the tender and got sounds of the bell, the whistle, air pumps, everything you can imagine on that locomotive. So it's a really popular Santa Fe engine. I know I personally have 3 on order through you, Ken. So my wallet will not be safe when the time comes. So if you are looking,
your soon-to-be wife,
yeah, that's on the secret credit card there.
What happens at TrainWorld and Trainland stays at TrainWorld and Trainland.
Exactly. Yeah. We've got so many different variations of this locomotive. The one you're looking at here is the 2912, and that is the locomotive as it was built. And there's a couple of differences that we're modeling in this first production run. The most notable difference on the exterior side is you will notice the side rods are tapered. They are not these circular roller bearing side rods that you would see on the 2926 or on the later post 1947 version. So if you model pre 1947 rebuild, this is kind of the locomotive that you're going to want right in the heart of near the end of World War II in 1944, all the way up until that time period. And then, of course, you'll have the later ones with the roller bearing side rods too, and the shorter smokestack there as well. But we will include alternate smokestacks in there. So I know some guys have been wondering, are you going to get the extension stack and everything? Yes, you will have the extension stack in the box with the model, so you can go ahead. There will be actually a little screw inside the smoke box that you'll be able to unscrew and swap out the smokestacks for whichever version you'd like it to look. So if you are one to get some Santa Fe steam, this is right up your alley for some good high quality, high detail locomotives. Our brass hybrid lines are fantastic for that. They have a ton of really great details. You got the belt cords, you got the whistle cords, you got piping details, everything. So there's a lot of really good things to like about this model, and I'm personally very excited for it to come out. I know many other customers are too.
It is a beautiful prototype, Curtis. I can see why you had to have 3 of them. But yeah, the big tender and the tall drivers on it and everything. It's a tough looking steam locomotive. It's really neat.
Built for mountain passes, used primarily in the Southwest, Cajon Pass, Raton Pass, I think maybe even Tehachapi Pass, any of those mountainous regions in the Southwest through the Mojave Desert. The tender also has that sleek curved look at the back there too. That version that you're looking at there is the post 1947 version, again with the roller bearing side rods. It has a little bit more of a darker appearance on the front as it was just in service. We kind of gave it that more natural look. Yeah, so you can kind of see the differences there. But those locomotives are fantastic. That road number in particular, 2903, I have on order, and that's because growing up in Chicago, I saw that locomotive all the time when I went to the Illinois Railway Museum as a kid. That engine is still existing today at the Illinois Railway Museum, and there's 5 or 6 of them that are still out there on display. So if you have one near you, if we didn't do it in this production run, we're probably going to do it in the next production run. But that's definitely a great locomotive to include into your collection of any kind. And the details, like I said, are fantastic. Brass boilers and tender shells, handcrafted too. So you've got really, really just gorgeous, almost pieces of art in a way for these locomotives. And I know a lot of Santa Fe guys have been asking for these. We're happy to deliver it, and you're going to get the prototypical sounds and everything on the models, just as I was talking about earlier, being able to climb on top. And again, big thanks to the New Mexico guys for allowing us to do that.
Beautiful stuff.
I was going to say one more version, and this version is kind of unique. It's the twin beam headlights. Yeah, so if you go up to the previous image, Ken, if you zoom in on the headlight, it's got a almost like a pig nose looking headlight center there, and that was an experimental thing that Santa Fe did on 5 of those units, and we're excited to offer that as an option as well. So if you're looking for something really unique that is, will kind of make people do a double take as like, what the heck is that? That is definitely a model that you're going to want to add, because it will catch the attention of people who might not have seen that on a Santa Fe steam locomotive before, but it is prototypical.
Wow, very cool. And these, of course, all this stuff we're talking Paragon 4 with DCC sound and smoke.
Yep, and smoke. Yep. Or if you prefer any aftermarket sound decoder, or maybe you run on DC, our Stealth series is a great alternative for that as well. Stealth series models are DCC ready, but they have a speaker installed. So if you prefer one of the aftermarket sound decoders like ESU, Tsunami, TCS, etc., you can go ahead and purchase your 21-pin decoder. You just have to plug it in, program your sounds, and you're good to go. There will not be smoke, though, in the Stealth units. So if you want the smoke feature, you would have to get the Paragon 4 with the sound. But Stealth units do not have smoke, but you can actually go in and customize your sounds, whichever sounds you would like from whatever your preferred aftermarket decoder is. And those locomotives are going to be arriving sometime next year. We're aiming for the summer of 2027. And the order deadline to get in your pre-order with Ken Jr. here in TrainWorld is September 17th, 2026. So coming up in just under a month from now. So if you're looking to get one, I really recommend you get a pre-order in because they're going to be really popular and they'll be gone at delivery. We're pretty confident in that.
Oh, yes, I would expect so. Yeah.
It's unbelievable. And I will say the detailing on Broadway Limited Steam is quite honestly like the bar in the industry. Everybody just wants to try to achieve that level, and the detailing is just so crisp and the structure on this hybrid product and even the non-hybrid product is just unbelievable detailing. Quite honestly, you guys have exquisite steam engines on the market, just unbelievable.
I appreciate that. And yeah, we go through a lot of work to make sure that everything on our steam locomotives is as detailed as it possibly can, because these steam engines are not cheap by any means. They are rather expensive models, but they're great models and they're museum quality. And I think that a lot of people, once you see the details and the pipe work and all the separately applied parts that go into it, they are worth the wait when you have to wait a while for these to come in. And the fact that we are able to work with a lot of these societies, historical societies, and the groups that still, in this case, run the locomotive and get so many different reference parts. If we have a design question, it's so nice to just be able to email the folks there and be like, hey, can you send us a quick photo of this part? We just need to see scaling wise what it is. And then, then within the next 24 hours, we get a photo of it. And there's a 3D print sample, thanks to our friends at 3D Central, who do a great job of printing off our products there. And you can see that's the original design. We have made some modifications to the design since, like the coupler pocket there is a little oversized. We have made it smaller to be more accurate for the prototype. But it gives you a great perspective as to what the model will look like versus looking at the 3D renders. Yeah.
Wow.
And that has that's the extended stack on the 3D print, isn't it? That kind of scissor-like
correct
piece put on there. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's actually the 2926. It's kind of hard to see in that version, but there is the dual dynamo on the boiler at the fireman side. So that is the model that we have printed in when we go to shows. That's what we show off as the 2926. So if you see us at any of these shows, whether it be at the NMRA show a couple of weeks ago or Train Fest coming up or any other show, and we have that model and other 3D print models, that is usually the initial design. And of course we make changes to them since, but it's a great way to get a visual as to what the products will look like. And that's just a gorgeous locomotive. Yeah. Looking at the renders is one thing, but when you see the actual physical sample and you get a glimpse as to what it'll look like, in your hand on the table, it's a whole nother level. So again, big shout out to 3D Central for printing that for us. And like I said, I just can't wait for those. Those are so good looking. I'm excited for them.
Really will be awesome. Now that's LED lighting on those. Can you mention a little? Yes, that's exactly what I was going to say. Ken, does that red backup light, or the emergency light there? What's some of the lighting features in the cab and that kind of thing?
Yeah. So if you're familiar with our Blue Goose, there was actually Santa Fe was unique. They had a cab. Actually, you can see it on that image there. On the top of the cab, on the back side, you will see a rectangular square right above that first box near the front of the tender. You'll see the red marker light on the tender there too. That's, of course, will be illuminated. But if you look at the cab right above your cursor, Ken, that's where there's a white rectangular box there. That is also lit up. That was a unique feature for Santa Fe. So that'll be there. You'll, of course, have the in-cab light. You'll have the front directional light. And I believe the number boards will also be lit as well. So you'll have a lot of nice lighting features on these models. Something you would expect from a Broadway Limited product to have all the nice lighting features and everything on these. And the lighting features, like I said, the red light on the back will illuminate. You got the 2 different cab lights. You got all the lights you could possibly have. And if you, again, get a stealth model, they will all work. You will just have to program them on your decoder program or whichever you prefer.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Really excited for those.
And these, again, the deadline on these Santa Fe's is coming up in the next month.
Yeah. September 17th is the order deadline. And right now they're on schedule to possibly deliver in the summer of 2027. We don't have an exact date yet, as there are a couple other hybrid projects ahead of it. But we are anticipating these to be done soon, or done at some point in 2027 and shipped out. But as of right now, as of today of this live stream, it's summer 2027. Maybe even a year from now, we'll have them in by this time next year. But yeah, get your orders in. September 17th is the deadline. We don't want to miss out on those. You don't want to miss out on those. I've already secured my pre-order, so I'm good. But I know many of you who are watching this might not have yet, so make sure you go ahead and do so, because these are going to be hot when they arrive.
The detailing looks fantastic. Really beautiful.
Yeah, we're really excited for these.
Awesome.
We can move on to the next one. I don't know which one you had on your list there, Ken, but we have a ton of other stuff to get to. So I know we'll have plenty of other fun items to get to. But I think for the time being, let's see. There we go. The Lima Berkshire is actually literally what I was just thinking of. And Tony, I know you were excited about these. We just got these 3D print samples. We announced these a couple years ago at Amherst, and they have been really popular. We've got several different versions. We've got the Boston and Albany. We've got the Lima Berkshires, the Lima Demonstrator, I should say. These were kind of known as the Lima Berkshires before the nickel plate ones and everything. But then you've also got the Illinois Central version, which the Demonstrator was sold to Illinois Central, and then Illinois Central eventually got more and made their own modifications to it. But these are also 3D print samples of what the product will look like. It looks awesome. A lot of great, again, details of piping and side air compressors and everything like that on the front. The marker lights, you've got a ton of really cool features on this model. Again, another brass hybrid, so you know the quality is going to be there. I mean, just looking at that piping on the smoke box there is fantastic. Just a lot of really cool details. The bell detail there too. We're really excited for these. We actually will be getting some tooling samples and painted samples in the next couple of weeks. So we're excited to show those off on social media when they come in.
I thought the Lima or Lima, I forget how you say it.
Tomato.
Tomato. The one that's the Demonstrator, number one, is really neat as far as like a collector type thing. It's like, wow, that's cool, because you don't always think on, diesels, there were a lot of Demonstrators that steam. That's kind of interesting to see that Lima decorated one with the number one on it. So that was very cool.
Yeah, and I personally think the Illinois Central one, maybe it's just my ties to the Midwest, but the Illinois Central one looks really cool as well. And I think that these will be really, really popular when they come in. The locomotives in general have kind of a unique history, and the Boston and Albany had several different versions, one of the which that you can find the artwork images and renders on our website. I didn't send them to you, Ken, but are the Seaside Green. So imagine this in a kind of a unique, bright sort of lime green. And that was one scheme that Boston and Albany had in these. And they were really popular for them. They were some of the larger locomotives that the B&A had on their roster. And I know many people are asking, well, what about the New York Central variations? And I think those will be a discussion for a later date, because these are just too good to not pass up at the moment. And if you're looking to expand on your steam roster, because like I said, the opportunities for these locomotives to be featured on any portion of your railroad, whether you model Illinois Central or you just want an excuse to have one feature on your steam era railroad, the Lima Demonstrator scheme. There's a lot of really cool things there. The piping detail on that fireman side looks awesome with the right above the drivers and everything. Really, really excited about those.
I thought that the truck underneath the cab, the idler or whatever back there behind the drivers, is a really cool thing too. That's a neat looking piece.
Yeah. And a lot of times when we make these models, the societies, they actually give us the original drawings, like a digital scan. So we will actually use that as part of our data. And it's really cool to see some of the history that comes through when you look at these drawings, and to think to yourself that, this wasn't designed on a 3D computer system like you have now. I mean, the model is, but back then when they designed these, they didn't have that. So all these are hand drawn and everything like that. It's really, really cool. And it just kind of shows the technology and the intelligence that these, engineers had in designing these locomotives. It's truly amazing. And I'm glad that we're able to bring that intelligence and the work of art into a model form for people to have on their layouts.
It's so amazing right now, all the late era steam stuff. That Santa Fe, this Berkshire's another one that these big late era steam prototypes and in such amazing quality that it's almost too much. It's like, wow, I'll forget some of the things you guys announce until you show like a sample. And I remember going back and looking, and like, oh yeah, I'd forgotten about these. But yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
Now on these engines, this is a brass hybrid as well, I presume. I noticed we don't get a lot of nearly any returns on Broadway Limited steam engines. But if you look at the amount of detailing, it's just absurd. So why is it that these detailing parts are just like? Is that because a lot of them are that brass hybrid, and they're not as delicate as other manufacturers? Would you say?
I think it's a little bit of. I think it's a little bit of that. I think it depends on the. I think it depends on the project. Like a highly detailed locomotive like this, where you've got a ton of piping on the exterior, you want to capture the look of it. You know what I mean? Because you get a lot of times where some steam locomotives are missing some, certain details, and then it just kind of throws off the whole look of it on the exterior. Where you look at like the Penzi S1 or the Santa Fe Blue Goose we've done before, that's a streamlined body. So there's not a lot of piping that is seen and everything like that. A lot of guys just clamor to seeing those extra level of details. That was one of the reasons why we, in our second run of GS4s, we announced the de-skirted versions, was because those are so cool to see the air compressors and the piping on the side. A lot of guys kind of clamor to that. And it also helps SP modelers model certain eras for later uses down the road. But the locomotives themselves just have a certain look to them that, we want to capture and be able to bring. And, when you work with brass hybrid, even with die-cast models too, you can try to bring a lot of that. Our Boston and Maine, Santa Fe, and Southern Pacific Berkshires with the coffin feed water heater over the top. Those had a lot of really great details. And it's about capturing that look. It's about bringing something from, a bygone era and bringing it into the present day and trying to capture that spirit of American railroading. And I think we really try to put the focus on that when we look at our designs and when we're getting feedback from historical societies and everything like that. It really goes a long way. And I think that's really helped establish our reputation. And, part of the reason why we do some of these as hybrids is because they're not, the Boston, looking at fans of the Pennsylvania Railroad and the Boston and Albany, I think it's safe to say that a lot of people like the Penzi, or a lot of people like Union Pacific. But doing as a hybrid model allows us to bring these really highly detailed models that are kind of a little niche, but bring them to market in a way that you can still appreciate the detail and the level of work that goes into it. It really adds a whole nother level of production into these models. And they do take a lot longer because you're looking at all these details. It's not just something where they just can throw, in a plastic molding and just, wait for it to come out of the molding machine. These are all separately applied parts and everything. And it really shows, and it helps that presentation for the customer.
I can't imagine all these parts and everything. And it's like, we never really hear anything on Broadway Limited. Oh, this was broken. It's like all the engines come so meticulously packed, and it's just amazing that we don't hear more of any issues. It's just, look at all those parts. It just
and if something does come in and something is broken off or array or something, our service department's here for you to get that taken care of. You can contact them. They're more than happy to fix anything that comes awry. But we're really proud of how our packaging kind of holds the models in place and make sure everything's arrived safely and soundly. So when you get it shipped from TrainWorld or you get it on your layout and everything and you open it up, you're going to have it on your layout and it's going to work right away. And that's something that, Paragon 4 has really, really improved, is a lot of the reliability issues that we saw with Paragon 3. But these models are fantastic. And I just can't say enough about how the work that goes into these and the ability to get all those details on a level, it's truly remarkable. And it's a credit to our team of making sure we get everything right as best we can.
Awesome.
Should we talk about the big boy? Is that something that it seems like everybody has talked about the big boy this year. And I do have a fun update for customers. We're looking at the big boy there. So if you are looking for another reason, not just besides it's a Broadway big boy, you're going to want to get the big boys anyways. We actually are excited to show with you a little sample here. Inside the boxes for HO and N scale big boys for the 250 models, customers will get a big boy up. I don't know if it goes through there. Pin with the red, white, and blue stripe across it. So you'll be able to see just like how it had on the East Coast tour legs where it went from Cheyenne to Philadelphia. So if you're looking for something cool and exciting that will come in your box as a memento, that's a really cool thing that we're adding, and we're really excited about those. So much so that Union Pacific has taken notice, and they have requested to get a couple of models, one for their corporate office. So we're really excited for these to come out. And you look at the details on the front there with the eagle and the placard, the big boy chalk writing, the new pilot detail on the front there. I mean, it's really been the summer of big boys, and it's been something that it's just so cool to see people go crazy over. And I think this production run of big boy has really taken it to another level in terms of hype. I mean, it's the most popular locomotive on the rail. It was all over social media. It was all over the news, national news, local news, wherever you get your sources of news from. It was everywhere. You couldn't miss it. I think there was a stretch where you probably went at least 2 weeks without not seeing it for however long it was there. And just how historic it was for them to partner with Norfolk Southern, going through Horseshoe Curve. A lot of customers have been wanting to recreate these excursions that the big boy was on, and we're excited to bring it to both HO and N scale. Paragon 4 models, you'll get great sound, you'll get smoke in both HO and N scale. And of course, we're looking at the West Coast version, but the East Coast version will have the appropriate herald like it looked like on the pin that I just showed you. So we've got a lot of really cool details on this run. And that's not the only version of 4014 we're offering. Probably overshadowed the most is last year in 2025. It went on a excursion between Cheyenne and Denver. And Ed and the Steam team put up smoke deflectors on it. And so we've brought that to the market as well as one of them. So lots of really cool, exciting features on this. And the dual beam headlight is another new feature that we are adding. You can't quite see it on the model there, but you will see the actual housing of the dual beam there in the model itself. And the decoration where you've got the white walls, aluminum walls, and the striping and everything. There's a lot of really good stuff there for a modeler who's looking to recreate probably the biggest event in railroading history this decade or even this millennium. Who knows how many people want to determine that. But something that a lot of people never thought they'd see was a big boy going over Horseshoe Curve or coming out east, and it happened. And if you're looking to model that, it's time to jump in. Ken, I don't know how popular they have been for you, but for us, we have seen a lot of demand for these things, both HO and N scale. And I can't encourage you enough. If you want one, please reserve one today, because we're going to be building extras, and with the big boy runs every single time, they are gone like that. And it's really important to get a pre-order in, reserve yours, because they'll be guaranteed at delivery, and you don't want to miss out on these iconic looks of 4014 when they come in.
Yeah, this will probably be the biggest HO item of the year for sure.
Wow.
And just looking at the pre-orders, it's just mind-boggling. We actually had to double check on some customers because they were ordering multiple, and a lot of them we spoke to them just to confirm, and they were just so excited, and they wanted it as gifts, as this and that, and it's just unbelievable. And Tony could probably write a book on how many articles he's written on big boys. But every time we think the big boy market is saturated, I mean, another tour comes out of a variation, and it's just the most iconic engine locomotive. And no matter what scale you're in, whether it's G scale, O scale, HO, N scale, I mean, the big boy is just remarkable. And now over this past summer, it was Pennsylvania, New York. It was just like in our neck of the woods. So it was like, New Yorkers getting excited about trains was very cool. And quite honestly, a month or 2 months before the event, they were talking about hotels sold out. You can't get transportation to the event. If you go there, the traffic is going to be insane. So everybody, and it's not just like model train people, it's train enthusiasts, it's regular people just wanting to experience the big boy effect. It's just unbelievable. So
Ken, was the big boy bigger than the Knicks winning the championship?
I think so. I think so, but we'll have to do a debate. But it's the neck for sure.
No, the demand for these has been astounding, and we're really excited about this run. I'm really pleased to hear that there's guys that are buying multiples, not just for Broadway's sake, but because there's such an emotional attachment. It seems like this past year there was articles in like the Wall Street Journal about grown men crying seeing the locomotive, and just the hype.
Was that Tony?
No, that wasn't me. I already had, I'd seen it a couple of times because being in the West. So yeah, to me, some of this was like, why is everybody going so crazy? It's like, oh yeah, it's never been out east before. And speaking of that, but now Curtis, you guys are doing that. I think is the West Coast tour version that we're looking at there with the stuff around the cab.
The West Coast,
the only version too. What's the difference?
So the only difference, the details will look the same. If you look at the very front of the locomotive, the herald on the front, look at this here again. So this is the East Coast version where you can see this red, white, and blue stripe. So this version of the herald was worn on the locomotive from Cheyenne out to Philadelphia and back west to Cheyenne. The first leg of the tour, where it went from Cheyenne to Sacramento, it did not have that red, white, and blue stripe. It was just the normal UP shield with 4014. So it gives a variation for if a customer in Iowa or a customer in Nevada saw it, it wasn't the same version as what they saw in Iowa. So if you're looking to model what you saw, it's a way to differentiate the version that you want. Or maybe you live in California and you want to recreate the excursion over Horseshoe Curve, or something like that. It's a way to kind of differentiate which version there was. Even though that was the only detail difference, it's quite a noticeable thing, and especially for guys who saw it out in New York or in Pennsylvania when it paralleled 2102 and on the Reading and Northern. Whatever opportunity you're looking to model, you want to make sure you get the right one. So that's why it's different there. It's just that 3-colored stripe in the lettering of 1776 to 2026 across the herald. That's the only detail difference, but it will still have the PTC details. It'll still have the correct pilot, the dual beam headlight. The big boy chalk mark decal will be in the box as well, so you can add that on if you prefer to add it or not. And then we also added new handrails on the cab, as that was a new detail that was added along with the PTC details, the triple dynamo. There's a lot of details that are coming back from previous runs, but also that we added onto this run to make it more authentic, more realistic looking for customers who saw it in person, maybe for the first time in their lives, and they want a model of that either on their layout, on a display case, whatever it might be. And I'm really excited for these locomotives. And I know some guys will roll their eyes and say, it's another big boy, it's too much. But like Ken said, when you've got different versions that come out and new details, the demand is always there for these.
Yeah. And
we're really excited about these. I know HO scalers were really excited about these, and then we announced them in N scale, and N scalers are now really excited about these. So if you're modeling one of those scales or both scales and you're looking to recreate stuff, I know we've recently and are just coming out with soon the Reading 2102 in N scale. So N scalers, if you're looking to recreate that moment in Pennsylvania, it's the perfect time to jump on board and get the accurate big boy for it. Our big boys, I have confidence saying this, are known as the best on the market, not only just because you've got the die-cast tooling for that tractive effort, but the details that we go through. And we work with the Union Pacific Historical Modeling Societies, so they give us a ton of feedback on these as well to make sure everything looks good and looks right. And it's always really good to see another big boy come out, because for everybody who has requests for steam locomotives that they've never seen before or that we've never made before, runs like this help us fund that. And with the sales as high as they are, there's a good opportunity for something new and exciting to come out that we haven't done yet. And that's just the way of the world of model train manufacturing.
That's great. And will this have flagpoles or?
It will not have flagpoles. It's modeled. We've had guys ask us if we're going to do include the flags. If we were to do every state flag, that'd be a pretty big baggie of state flags in the box. So unfortunately not, but I know there's a lot of really good talented modelers out there that if you want to add a flag of your choice on there, I know there are many videos and stuff out there that you can create your own flag and add it to the front of these. The detailed part where the flags would be placed is modeled, but just no flags in general will be in the box.
And can I see the East Coast emblem that you showed before?
Yeah, absolutely. So this right here. Oop, pull it back. There you go.
And what it has the red, white, and blue. Mm-hmm. We've got a shot of the render of the nose, don't we, Ken? Because we've seen a couple people have asked what is, and as Curtis says, that's the difference, right? Is the UP shield on the nose?
Correct. Yeah, should be the dead on. Yeah, so that's the East Coast one right there. So if you look at the UP Herald right in front of the headlight, that has the red, white, and blue stripe. That is the East Coast version of it. If the West Coast version from Cheyenne to Sacramento, it would not have those red, white, and blue stripes on the Herald there. And that's the only detail difference, is just that little Herald on the front.
But this release, both HO and N, you're including that pin that you showed us. You get that regardless.
Correct. Yeah. So if you want the 250 locomotives, this will be in the box. These little pins here, perfect to put on your hat or your lanyard. Whatever you have pins. I have a cork board with a bunch of pins that I've collected over the years. So if you're looking for a new pin to add to your already trained collection, it's a good way to get a little memento in the box to kind of remember the occasion.
Wow, very cool.
It is such a beauty. And Ken can confirm this for us, but yeah, I think the big boy, and I have that from people email, really they're doing big boys again. And it's like, because even when there's a minor difference or something changed, the demand for it, I don't think there's probably any other prototype that literally is like, well, you could make it for every way it ever possibly looked, and there's going to be people lining up to buy it.
Best-selling engine in every scale.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, very nice. And again,
I just thought of a custom for Broadway and to do. So I'm excited to email you off air, and Tony's going to be excited to put it in his HO collector series.
There we go. Looking forward to it. One thing I wanted to also go to, Ken, if we can switch gears and go to some N-scale rolling stock that we just announced. We're really excited. There's the comparison of the HO and N-scale. There's some prototype photos. That's the version of the West Coast. That previous, you go back to that other photo, Ken. That is the West Coast version. You'll notice the Herald on the front, again, in front of the headlight, does not have the red, white, and blue stripe. So if you're looking to model the excursion from Cheyenne to Sacramento back to Cheyenne, that is the version that you would want, would be the West Coast version there.
And the eagle hood ornament on the front is on all of them too, right? You guys have rendered that as well. So, yeah. Yep.
And then there's the scene in Pennsylvania that a lot of people were there to witness those two running side by side. I can't imagine the noise standing next to trackside listening to those two things going side by side.
And the eagle is real gold?
Correct. Yeah. Well, at least I think it's on gold on the real thing, but our model, no, it will not be real gold. Okay. People will turn in their big boy.
Everyone, disclaimer, it will not be real gold.
People taking their big boys to those cash for gold stores or something.
That's right. That's right.
There. Yeah, so that's the West Coast. And then there's the wind deflector version, the 2025 excursion, where it had the smoke deflectors. That is the one we're also offering in this run. Aside from the 250 tour versions, that's another version of 4014 we're adding into this run. There's again on the West Coast.
Beautiful.
So cool to see all the hype around that this past summer.
Looks like Tony took some of these pictures.
I don't think that was mine. I didn't get out to see it for this run. Yeah, no.
Ken, I'd love to talk about the N-scale Fox River and N-scale Kenefic
Yeah.
while you're working on that, because I know we were just talking about the big boy. Everybody's going to need some cars to pull it with. And right there is the Union Pacific version of our upcoming N-scale Fox River. Really excited about these. There has never been, and I was shocked to hear this, there has never been a mass-produced track inspection car in N-scale before. Outside of Overland, which was years ago, N-scalers have been asking for these cars for a long, long time. And we're really excited to deliver these. These cars, like the HO scale versions, will have the touch lighting features on the top, so you'll be able to individually control certain light functions on the car. So we're really excited about those. The UP version that you see here is the version from 1995, so post C&W merger, when they acquired the car from the Chicago Northwestern, up until 2006. And then we're also modeling the post 2006, where it's got an all-white roof and it's got the video relay antennas on the back there. So it's got a lot of really neat details. You can find all the different versions we're offering on our website at broadway-limited.com, or you can go on TrainWorld's website and check it out before you click, accept pre-order, or click the pre-order button on there. So these cars are going to be fantastic. Again, never been done in N-scale, and N-scalers have been asking for these for a long, long time, and we're really excited to deliver on these. Not only is it good for a steam locomotive like the Big Boy or the FEF or our recently done Challenger, like on Tony's background there, but they also work with diesels as well. So if you've purchased any of our N-scale ES44s or any of the Heritage SD70 Aces that we've done before in N-scale, and you're looking to do an accurate business train, this is the perfect car to have on that train for many different versions of a track inspection train. So we're really, really, really excited about these, like I said. And I know N-scalers are going to be wanting to get their pre-orders in on these. And we will, at some point, announce some other schemes, too, outside of UP and C&W. So N-scalers outside of the UP realm, stay tuned. We've got some more schemes in the works there that we'll announce at a later date. But for now, if you're looking to build up your UP Heritage train and recreate what you saw one of the last couple of years, that's the perfect addition there as well. And then, of course, we got the Kenefic, which, Ken, I know you guys loved the HO scale Kenefic cars. They were super popular. Everybody was raving about them, and now we're bringing them to N scale. The only difference with these is that they have been done before in N scale by another manufacturer, but not with drum heads, not with all the lighting features and everything like that. You're going to be able to recreate any sort of office car special or excursion that you might have seen out on the rails at some point. And of course, the lighting features, like I said, the track inspection lights there you see on the bottom of the railings will light up. The red and green marker lights will light up. The interior you'll be able to control, all with the touch of the top of the roof. The touch lighting features have been so popular for so many customers. It's such a cool feature. No decoder programming, no wands, so you don't have to risk scratching the paintwork on it or anything like that. They are really, really nice cars. There's the Big Boy Tour there that we're looking at. It's really awesome, and we're really excited about these to come to N scale, and all the many details that we can bring of these cars to N scale. I know, Tony, you've probably been getting many emails about these.
Yes,
really, really excited about this offering.
This was when you guys brought this out, and we talked about this when it hit an HO. It is such a neat model. Ken, this is one of the only models I've gotten feedback in the almost 15 years I've been doing the magazine, where I've had people said, I bought this just because I wanted to play with the light features. Like, I'm not a Union Pacific person or this, that. I just thought it was a really cool business car. It is priced so attractively that it was like I had to have it. And then all the different the touch features of turning on the different lighting that you can do and raising and lowering the illumination. I had guys that bought it just because they wanted to try it. Like, I can't believe it really does all this stuff. And it's not DCC. You can just do it with track power. And it is such a great model. And of course, the N-scalers, the always vocal N-scalers, hey, when are they going to do this in N? So yes, when this got announced, I immediately had a flood of, finally, N-scale. I had Facebook in my inbox was, oh my gosh, Broadway's doing that in N-scale. Like, finally.
Yeah. And it's been a long time coming, especially with the Fox River. Like I said, so many people have been asking for a track inspection car, a quality track inspection car with many of the different lighting features and everything. And we're really excited to bring those in. One more thing, going back to the big boys really quick. Just want to quickly give the order deadlines. So the HO big boys order deadline's also coming up. It's September 17th for those. Those should be arriving in the spring of next year. N-scale big boys, November 30th is the order deadline. Summer 2027 is when we expect them to deliver. These cars, the Fox River, the order deadline is still a little bit of ways. You have until December 17th to get your order in. But if you want them guaranteed at delivery, it's best while we're sitting here talk about it. Just open another tab, go on the website, place a pre-order with Ken Jr. at TrainWorld here, and you'll get yours. And they're going to be really, really exciting. Summer of 2027 is when you can expect the Fox River. The Kenefix here, you're looking at around the spring of 2027 with a November 30th order deadline for those. And like what you were talking about, the modeling opportunities and the lighting features and everything you got with this car, it's really exciting. And I know a lot of N-scalers have been asking for these. And before you know it, there'll be more coming in N-scale. So other cars that we've done in before in HO will eventually come to N-scale. So we're just starting off with these. So N-scalers, get your order in, get the pre-order in. We're going to have a lot of fun with these cars when they come in. And if you ever see us at any shows, we'll have some samples of the 3D print samples of these cars. So you'll be able to see them in person, not just, again, on a 3D render here. But we're really excited about them. Again, get your pre-order in because we expect these to be a really hot N-scale product when they come in.
And, both HO and N on these cars, this is the one, and we've talked about this before, Ken, and I've said this to Curtis. The suggested retail price on them is mind-blowing when you look at all the interior detail, the underbody detail, the lighting features, how intricately it's all put together. Because what the N scale, I think, has a suggested retail around the same as the HO. And these cars, again, when they first came out, it's like, wow, at double the price, I would have thought it still is a neat car. So they're a tremendous value.
Yeah, and if you wanted any of these cars, in the HO market at least, if you wanted any of these cars, you'd have to go look in the brass route, which are fine. They're greatly detailed cars, but it's expensive. And for us to be able to bring these to plastic, mass-produced at a much good price point where you've got all these features like you were just saying, Tony, it really is a no-brainer that if you're looking to build a UP excursion train or business train, or even if you just like it because it's cool, it's time to get your pre-order in, because I think these will be one of the more popular N-scale rolling stock projects that not only that we will have, but that will probably come out this year. We're really excited about these.
That's right. And Jeremy had a good idea. He wants a CSX Santa version in N-scale too. I emailed, so we'll see. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. We'll see if we could get that to happen. A little fantasy version. And I tell you that I don't understand why it took so long for anyone to make this car. It was like, for HO, it was like unbelievable. Everybody was going crazy for it. Mm-hmm. And it's just a beautiful car, Union Pacific, and the drum heads. It's like I don't understand how no one ever pushed it before. It was like
it's amazing. Yeah, as we've gotten specialized with the more road accurate stuff for like cabooses and obviously locomotives, diesels, and steam. Broadway hitting upon this Kenefix car, and then I know we're going to look at some other things. You've got Conrail track, but this whole thing is like a whole new segment that, as awesome as it is, you're just left scratching your head like, wow, how do we not get to this before? These are so cool. And yet, as Curtis said, they were around. I can remember seeing like brass Rio Grande Wilson McCarthy's as a kid, and they were nice cars, but again, it was so expensive. But boy, these things they pack all the detail into them, and it's just awesome seeing the depth that like Broadway's starting to hit on these excursion trains, because everybody loves them. I mean, it's neat stuff.
And it's not just with the UP. We've branched out. We've done. We'll talk about the Conrail and CSX cars here next, but we're doing the BNSF versions with the Santa Fe and the William Barstow Strong. One of our more recent F unit offerings coming to HO that we announced at the NMRA show was we're bringing back the Norfolk Southern executive F units, but in their later series when they dropped the 4 in the numbering. So now it's 270, 271, etc. So bringing those back, finding those unique little prototypes that, you know, have a pretty big following. Like the Norfolk Southern F units are really popular, and the same with the other roads, the Reading and Northern ones that were ex Norfolk Southern, and the Aberdeen, Carolina, and Western ones, those were ex Norfolk Southern units as well. Really cool prototypes. The Aberdeen one has like a cool like hot rod scheme sort of thing. So those were really cool to bring in, and it's just been one of those areas that we've been able to hit. And I'm really proud of our team for being able to work on these and bring them to market, because it does fill a gap, but it also helps, you know, round out, you know, a lot of people like to model like the UP excursion train and some of these business trains. And I know before I worked at Broadway, I got one of those brass William Barstow Strong cars. And one of the things I'm kicking myself now is I wish I would have, you know, possibly sold it before we decided to make it in a show. But anyways, regardless, the business cars have been really cool, a fun market for us to tackle. The Conrail and CSX ones are, I think, probably one of my favorite ones that we're going to be releasing at some point soon. We did have an order deadline set for the end of this month, but I can't share with you, we're a little bit behind on the tooling progression of that. So we're actually going to delay the order deadline to sometime near the end of the year. We'll let everybody know when we get closer to that. But we just had some renders that came in recently for these cars that look awesome. And if you're a Conrail modeler, I'm thinking of Dave Abley's off the top of my head, or a CSX modeler, and you're looking to model, you know, some of these business trains that you might have seen before, it's a great way to jump in. It not only shows us where the market is at on some of these road-specific business trains, but it also, if it's a good project and sells well, we can open up the doors to many other possibilities of other cars down the road. So it's important that if you want to see other prototypes made in Class 1 railroads in particular for these business cars, it's really important that you get into pre-order and you reserve one, because not only are you helping, you know, guys like Ken at TrainWorld and us, but you're also literally giving us a gauge as to what the market's like for some of these cars. And some of them are really niche and obscure. And in order for us to find if it's worth doing, we want to make sure that there's a big base of customers that want it. And it's a great way to get involved with those. So we're really excited about these. The Conrail cars in particular, I'm really excited to jump in and talk about.
That's awesome.
And they are an interesting group. I know what, Curtis, we were talking in the last month or so, and I had stumbled across some, wasn't it a Conrail?
Yeah.
OCS car of some kind. And you're like, yes, we're looking at that too, or I know what that is. Because I said, hey, this is not the one you've announced, but I wasn't aware of this. This is cool. And so, yeah, there's more to all of this stuff than you think on some of these business cars.
And some of the features of these business cars too, like, for example, another manufacturer that many of you probably know, Rapido, made the Conrail Executive E-units about a year or so ago. And it's really cool that they were kind enough to share their paint code with us for those E-units. So our Conrail 9 will match the paint of their locomotives. So there's no going to be off shades of colors. I know looking at the renders is one thing, and you're like, is that the color that it's going to be in? The software doesn't get the actual like Pantone color chips, you know, in it that you can't really replicate. So you're working with the best you can to kind of get it as close to it. But when the models come in, you're going to have it be a near spot on match to what you would see from the Rapido E8s, for example, for those the power for that Conrail OCS train. Or if you're looking to get the CSX version, I know there's tons of other videos out there online of the business train being hauled by one of their heritage units or one of their specially painted locomotives. So there's plenty of modeling opportunities for these cars, and I really encourage you, if you want one, to get your pre-order in, because these Conrail and CSX cars, one of the lengths that we've gone to for this project in particular is that the CSX car in particular had the CSX version, I should say, in particular, had essentially a new look to it. If you look at the Conrail 9 and the CSX W. Thomas Rice, the roof is different. The interior is different. There's Conrail 9 there. You can notice like how it has the squared off garage door, and the roof has those kind of weird cut-ins where the spotlights are. The later version of the car has a totally different look to it. And we've modeled both versions accurately, and plus other schemes that the car wore during its time. And the underbody details, the Conrail Historical Society was fantastic in giving us the details that were needed for the not only just the interior but the underbody as well, close-up photos, everything. So again, these cars will have touch lighting features, so you'll be able to individually control the spotlights, the marker lights, the interior lights, the track inspection lights, and there's actually 2 track inspection lights on the CSX version. One in the modern day CSX version. You'll have them in front there, right underneath the big theater glass window. But then on the later one, if you keep going, Ken, I think maybe 2 more. Yeah. So if you look right behind that first set of trucks, underneath the 4th window, there's those are also track inspection lights, which will work.
Cool.
So again, another one of the lighting features that we're adding into this car, and with the details, with the help of the Conrail Historical Society, we're really excited for these cars. So again, if you're looking to add some business cars and some business car fleet to your East Coast Railroad, and you're going to want to get some of these. And we did some other fantasy schemes too. The KCS Arthur Stillwell is one of the schemes we recently added. We also are doing Wisconsin Southern and Grand Trunk Western. All those railroads had theater cars, but it's using our Conrail tooling. So it kind of fills the gap in those areas as well. So again, a great opportunity for you to get some really good looking business cars with some really cool lighting features. Really, you're going to want to get your hands on these when they come out, because they're going to be really hot. And of course, get a pre-order in with TrainWorld. They'll take care of you, and then you'll be guaranteed to get one at delivery, because I think we'll be close to sold out on these when they arrive.
And that's why these shows are so great. Tony, did you know that?
I didn't know this on the lights. And Ken, I've looked at these pictures. Because again, Curtis and I were talking about the Conrail cars. So I've looked at this, and yet until he said that, I'm like, I'm making the mental note of, okay, I got to do another thing in Model Railroad News and say, oh, by the way, did you catch that this later version CSX has got light panels, inside the truck there? Yeah, it's just amazing. The stuff we learn on these shows it's awesome.
He tried to sneak one past us, Tony.
I know. Well, there's the one thing I wanted to say that Curtis mentioned this recently, and big kudos to Broadway Limited. Your UP cars, I know you reached out to Walthers, because Walthers was, for all their HO-UP stuff. Yeah. And then you mentioned you worked with Rapido to match that Conrail color. And Ken, I know you run into this with customers of people asking, well, will it match my existing? I'd like to buy it, but is it going to be, I don't want to put them together and be like, wow, it's night and day. And that to me is a rare thing. I mean, maybe it happens more and I don't know it, but knowing that, I know Broadway did that with Walthers for the UP Armor Yellow, and then you did that with Rapido, making sure your Conrail matched. That is one of those above and beyond things in my book of, well, we're doing it and our color's right and we'll stand behind it. It's like, yeah, but I'm going to have 10 guys going, I got all these other things and it doesn't match.
Yeah.
So, it's awesome you do that.
And Rapido's released a few other cars to go with it, not just their E-units, but they've released some sleepers. And in fact, they also did the modern CSX scheme too, which will also match our W. Thomas Rice will match that car as well. So it just makes sense. It's a good thing for modelers and for customers to know that they're going to get, especially you're talking about UP yellow, Tony, the UP yellow is such a contested yellow amongst the modeling community. So for us to match the Walthers color is a great aspect of our UP cars, but for us to do it to the CSX and the Conrail cars to match with the motive power out there. Santa Fe BNSF, it's kind of stainless steel, so there's not much you're really matching there, so to speak. But in terms of what you've got here for Conrail and CSX, you've got a ton of really great options to model from. And of course, you want to know that your paint's going to match whatever cars that you have. It's a really, really great project, and we're really excited for these. So East Coast guys, step up to the plate, get your pre-order in. You're going to be excited for these when they come in. I promise you.
It's awesome. Really great stuff.
Yeah, there's the W. Thomas Rice there. Yep.
I love that scheme. That's really nice. Now, on these, you were given dates on the UP cars. What's for these Conrail CSX? This is HO scale. What's the deadline and expected delivery is next year, but what's our deadline later this year?
The deadline was originally later this month, but because we're behind on the tooling right now for the project, we're actually going to extend the deadline. There's some 3D print samples for you to get a better look at there too. So when you look at the details on these cars and everything, and
fine.
going back to the order deadline will be arriving sometime later this year. We'll have another announcement for these cars about when the new deadline will be. We just want to try to catch up on the tooling first and hopefully get some actual physical samples to show. So while we're waiting for tooling to catch up and everything, the deadline, there's currently no deadline, I guess you could say. So you could keep ordering in until, we make an announcement, but, until then, you don't want to forget it or you might miss it. How everybody's sending emails out at different times nowadays and things like that. You don't want to miss it. So I'd really just encourage everybody, if you want one of these cars, to get your pre-order in, start building up your Conrail executive train. I can already see Dave Abeley's with these cars on his layout, getting ready for the next operating session and everything. And there's Wisconsin Southern too. There's a lot of great options here for you. So again, I encourage you to get your pre-order in. The deadline was originally later this month, but we're holding off on that for a while now until we catch up on the tooling. So for now, you have plenty of time to get your pre-order in, but don't delay. Don't be that guy that forgets. You want to make sure you get your order in. So from there, I would say definitely get your order in and you'll be good to go. And the renders on these just look awesome. I love that B&O inspired scheme too. That looks awesome.
And what's going to happen on these is people may not pre-order or on the fence. And then Tony does an article about these lights over here. And then everybody's going to want them. They're going to be so collectible. You're going to pay through the nose. So make sure you get your pre-order in. Because Tony's already stocking up. He's got his I got
to double check now, because that Arthur Stillwell, the Kansas City Southern, I remember thinking about that. But now I can't remember. So I'm making the note. I got to log on to TrainWorld and see if I have that on pre-order, because now I can't remember if I got that KCS or not. Because remember, that stuff gets announced and I'm doing the news part of it and looking at the stuff for Curtis for like review samples for the magazine. And then it's like, but did I order that for myself? I got to go get myself one of those. And yeah, very cool.
Very cool. Neat stuff.
So yeah, we hopefully will expect these in the spring of next year. I can share. I saw somebody comment about a couple of other projects, I believe, on the N-Scale side. So just a quick update on a few N-Scale projects. The N-Scale Santa Fe 3751. They are wrapping up production on these, and we expect these to arrive to TrainWorld and to everybody else around early September. So we're really excited about these. Yeah, there you go. You can see it on the screen here about the details on these. And Aiden, our sound engineer, again, a big thanks to the San Bernardino Railroad Historical Society. Aiden climbed up all over the locomotive, got the air pumps on the front, got the stoker or atomizer sound in the cab, bell, whistle. It sounds amazing. We posted a video of it on our TikTok page. If you go onto TikTok and look up the video, you'll find it there. Of some of the sounds being demoed. It looks awesome. It sounds awesome. It smokes. It's got all the bells and whistles, pun intended. And you're going to be enjoying this model when it comes in. So early September is when you can expect these. There are still some models of the 3751 that you see here available. We're not completely sold out on these yet. So if you have held off until now, you still have some time. There are still a few models available left over, but I really suggest, if you want one, to get an order in, because it's down into the double digits, and it's soon to be in the single digits of the remainder that we have left over. So don't delay. Don't wait until they come out, because when they're gone, and you might have to wait until the next production run. And I'm telling you, when you hear and see these models yourselves, if you're a 3751 fan, you're going to be blown away by these. So make sure you get your pre-order in. And when these arrive in a matter of 3 to 4 weeks, you'll be blown away by them. I know you will.
My in-scale reviewers, I got about 3 or 4 guys that do in-scale reviews. Ken, I don't even want to talk about this locomotive. I literally had to put all those guys into a timeout with, I want to review that. I got to have, it's like, it's not even here yet. Can everybody calm down a little bit? But yeah, I don't think I've ever had a release roll up where it's sort of like, well, you know what? I'm going to keep it and I'm going to review it, because none of you guys can calm down enough about this. So yeah, it's been wild. And now this one, is this like the boiler and stuff? Is this combination die-cast plastic? What are the components on this scale?
Die-cast tooling, die-cast boiler, die-cast tender. And then die-cast chassis, so you'll get the maximum tractive effort, especially for N scale. I know N scalers on their flat modular layouts will have 80 reefers behind a single Y6B or something, and you'll be able to do that with these. They'll have traction tires on, so you'll be able to get the maximum pulling effort out of these locomotives. And yeah, they will be arriving soon, and I know you're going to be wanting to get these on your railroad. All a reefer train, excursion train, passenger train, freight train, whatever you have, they'll be ready for it.
And will these light up over here, the number boards?
They will not light up.
Okay.
It was a little too tough to get them in there in N scale.
Yeah.
But the directional light, the cab lights, everything else will be there.
It's tough. Everybody wants more features in N scale, but it's so tiny. And it's
tiny.
Still remarkable. I can't even imagine that you guys put smoke in some of these N scale units. It's just unbelievable what you guys could do.
And it looks really good. Ken, have you demoed? I'm sure you have at the store, played with some of the N-scale Broadways that smoke.
It's remarkable.
Yes.
They're the only ones that could do it.
I've had so many people say how good that is. Like, it's an effect. At first they thought, and they said, then I got it, and I'm amazed how cool it is. And it's like, yeah, it is surprising. It really looks good.
One thing I will say for N-scalers, if you've never had a smoke locomotive before, the smoke units are programmed to be on a timer. So it's not like HO scale where it's fan driven, where you have the continuous flow. The default is about 30 seconds. You can go in and change the CV value to make it go up to 5 minutes. And so just something to put out there for N-scalers, because I know we sometimes get questions that, the smoke unit doesn't work, or, it only went for like 10, 15 seconds, 30 seconds. No, it's on a timer. So just throwing that out there for you guys, for N-scalers, if you don't know that, it's on a timer, so you can program it to go as long or as short as you want. And of course, Paragon 4, you got the accurate sounds and everything. You can do stealth as well. As long as you have a Next 18 decoder, you can plug that in there as well. Speakers, like I said, on our stealth models are pre-installed, so you don't have to install any speakers or get anything like that. Just get your sound decoder, plug it in, you're good to go.
Nice.
One project that I know that we have talked about before, and I know that is also kind of native to your neck of the woods, Ken, is the Penzi in Long Island G5, the 10-wheeler coming in HO scale, die-cast tooling and everything. That locomotive has been one of our most highly requested locomotives in a long time. And when we announced it a couple months ago, it was really exciting. A lot of people have been excited about it. There's the 5741 at the Strasburg Railroad Museum of Pennsylvania next to Strasburg. And we've got a couple of prototype photos here of kind of give you what it will look like. I don't have any artwork or renders yet, but we will share those when they are available. But just to kind of give you an idea of what the locomotive looks like, these were primarily commuter locomotives. So running up probably by your store at some point in the 40s and 50s, Ken, on the Long Island Railroad, going back and forth up to Oyster Bay and everything. And the models of the Long Island that we're building will utilize the tenders of that photo there. And I know many of you Long Island fans will say they had bigger tenders. We know the tooling cost to tool 3 tenders in one production run was too expensive. So we're going to save those and do those accurately. I got questions asked about, are you guys going to do number 35 and 39? And those are the 2 Long Island engines that are restored or being restored right now. Yes, we are going to offer those in a future production run. But right now for the Penzi guys, we're taking care of those guys first. And we've got these 2 Penzi variant tenders there. And there's a picture of the Long Island one with the tender there. With the 70 P82A. And there's the museum one, 5741. So if you're looking to get any of these onto your railroad, it's a really neat little 10-wheeler freight passenger or not really excursion, but I guess soon to be excursion, because 39 is being restored to operation at Strasburg. But anyways, these locomotives are going to be great. It's a small steamer, so you'll have some room to do some switching, commuter work, yard work, whatever you might have on your layout. Really encourage you to get your pre-order in, because like I was saying earlier, the demand for these locomotives was so high and so popular. We don't want you to miss out on these. So again, make sure you go to TrainWorld, get your pre-order in, because they are really phenomenal and we're really excited about these. So I really hope that you get your pre-order in for these. And in the future, again, if you're looking for more Long Island steam, we'll have you taken care of too.
Yeah.
I think now, Ken, you've talked about this on shows before that some of these, we all get excited with the big boys, the Challengers, the neat things like the Blue Goose, the GS4, but these kind of the daily driver, you can all have the neat hot rod in the garage that you take out to go to a car show, but this is the grocery getter. And these kind of steam locomotives, again, we need these. This is a great operation type thing as far as running and switching and other stuff. These really end up being pretty popular, don't they, Ken?
Yeah, and Broadway's really the only company focusing on like highly detailed, switching or smaller steam locomotives. Right? It's you really don't see many on HO scale. So it's really neat, and especially G5 in our neck of the woods for Long Island and Pennsylvania too. Just really neat. So our customer base, they're thrilled on it. And as soon as it was announced, everybody wants their local number or this one, that one. And they were excited about the current edition. And there's just so much excitement on this. And, it's really great to see. So it's nice for HO scalers to really have something new and exciting like this.
And let's be honest, are we really going to go a year without making a Pennsy steamer of some kind being Broadway Limited with it being in the name and everything? But we're, like I said, we're really excited for these. It's a really unique prototype. And I'm not kidding. I've been going to Amherst for, 4 or 5 years now since I've been at Broadway. And I probably had requests in the thousands for these over the years of people wanting these. And the different detail versions that we're coming out with of the pre-war, post-war versions, the different tender types and everything. We were talking about, the effort that we go in to make sure that our steam locomotives have that look and have that feel. So that way, if you're modeling a specific version, because Tony, you and I go to RPMs, and there are guys that have the specific date of May 14th 1942 on their railroad, and they want whatever model happened to be running on their railroad at that time frame. So for us to be that specific with our steam engines is another level of detail that we go into. A big shout out to the Pennsy TNHS guys for helping us with these projects, because they are always on top of these things. And if you've purchased any of our 5-car Pennsy sets in the past, or any of those passenger cars, heavyweights that we've done in the past, these will be perfect for those. If you're looking to model any sort of commuter or small freight train, these will be perfect for those too, especially if you're a Pennsy fan. And these were all over the place. They had a ton of these things. So there's a lot of modeling opportunities for you to do this. If you do a little bit of research on these G5s, I'm sure you'll find something to fit right at home on your layout. Order deadline for these, December 17th. So you've got some time, and they'll be arriving next summer. Die-cast tooling, so you'll have that tractive effort. For a small steam locomotive, you could probably have a 10-car commuter train, and it'll pull it no problem. And it's a great model that you'll want if you're a Pennsy guy.
Nice.
Awesome. The G5, Broadway G5.
And we've been talking about all these steamers. I don't know if you guys know the importance of water. I mean, Tony, you do, but the importance of water for a lot of these steam engines. And at the NMRA show, we announced the perfect addition for a lot of these mainline steam locomotives, and that is the DLMX auxiliary tender. And there you go. You got a view of the 3D print sample. This is more commonly known for a lot of these guys who model the Southern Pacific, maybe 4449. This is the daylight aux tender. So for those of you who have seen the locomotive travel on many different excursions over the years, this is the water bottle, if you will, that the locomotive carries with it on its many different excursions. But it's not only just been with 4449. You'll see some photos that I included later on. 2472 Southern Pacific has used it. Spokane, Portland, and Seattle 700 has used it. Santa Fe 3751, we were just talking about it in N scale. The HO scale guys, if you have the model, it's used this on a trip to the Grand Canyon in 2002. So the opportunities to model a prototypical excursion are endless. Oh, and I didn't even mention Canadian Pacific 2816, when it went from Alberta down to Mexico and back. They leased this tender for that. They had 2 auxiliary water tenders on it, and this was one of them. So you'll have a lot of prototypical schemes for it, and you'll have the headlight work. You'll have a ton of great details of the hatch on the top and the underbody details. We're even including the chains on the trucks on the bottom there too. So there'll be a lot of great details for these, a lot of paint schemes that we're offering. Daylight, BNSF Employee Appreciation Special, the Let's Roll in the black with the Santa Fe logo, so it'd pair with your 3751 model, and Canadian Pacific. So it was repainted into that scheme, and it's still up there with the CP 2816 in Calgary. So if you're looking to recreate the excursion trains of many years of years past with this tender, this is something that you're going to want to have. And we've got some other the schemes are prototypical, but they weren't on the actual tender. So we've got American Freedom Train. We've got Steam Railroading Institute. So those of you who like to follow Pierre Marquette 1225, that's a great option for you. We've got Norfolk and Western. So kind of going with the excursions with like the 611 or 1218 or even 765. We've got Chessie Steam Special, Chessie Safety Express. There are a lot of these schemes that you can use for your railroad, and even black that's just unlettered. So there you go. You got some guy who's got 5 on pre-order already. So there's a lot of opportunities for these tenders. And if you scroll through some of the images there you go, Ken. So it goes with 4449 in an excursion in the 80s. I believe that's when it was going to the World's Fair. There's what the render of it will look like. And then, yeah, so it'll pair perfectly with that. There's the 3751 version of Let's Roll. It says it on the side there. So if you're modeling the 2002 excursion, that's for that. The BNSF Employee Special, you just saw there too with the BNSF Herald and the striping. We offered this version of the GS4 in our first production run several years ago. And then there's the 2816. And Tony, we were talking about the paint and everything on matching and everything like that. These will also match the Rapido 2816 model. So you'll have a nice paired aux tender with these. So if you're looking to add in some really nice excursion consist cars or tenders of any kind, this is what you'll have for you. And like I was telling you, Ken, if you keep going through the photos, there's a lot of opportunities. There's the 2816, the aux tender right behind it there.
That's an awesome shot.
Yeah, that's in Iowa, I believe. And if you keep going, there's several others. Yeah, there's SPNS 700 with the Let's Roll tender. There's 2472 with the daylight tender. And if you're looking to create this, you'll have to find a brass model of the 2472, but you could pair up the rest of the consist with some of the other offerings that some other manufacturers have had announced recently. So you've got some good options for modeling that excursion. There's another view of the daylight version of the aux tender there too. And then you can do this if you have both of the Broadway models of the 4449 and SPNS 700. There's the tender right between the daylight tender and the aux and the Amtrak P42 there. So there's a lot of options there. There's another one with the 2472, 4449, and again tucked away in the daylight scheme is the aux tender. So like I was saying, the options that you can use to model this are endless. That's when it was going to Owasso. There's the 3751 tour. So yeah, there's a ton of really great options for you to go ahead and model with this. And if you've got any sort of passion for modeling an excursion train you've seen or a road behind, this is something that you're going to want. So lots of good schemes for you to fit right at home with several of the locomotives that we've built in the past and other locomotives that have even come out that don't necessarily work with this tender, but it's a nice little stand-in for to kind of fill the gap in the market.
Look at the smoke coming out of that steam engine.
That's awesome. And this is one of those overlooked, same as the business cars tended to be. This is an overlooked category because there's a lot of GS4 models, and like that one daylight shot we just saw, those are things that I will get an email from somebody saying, what's the extra tender? Or like the model doesn't come with the 2 tenders. It's like, well, it's not, it's a water carrying car, basically. Again, it's something we see. And then once you recognize it, every modern excursion train, because again, there's not water towers, that supply doesn't exist since no steam anymore. So they carry their own water with them. And again, it's something, once you catch it, it's like, well, if I got a big boy or I have this or that modern thing, I got to have a water tender. Who makes one? And it's like, well, that's a challenge. So yes, this is a very nice addition.
Yeah, and there's many different schemes that you can fill the gap in model excursion trains of any kind. It's a really cool tender, and it will have the lights. So if you wanted to have a direction controlled lights on the tender, you'll be able to do that. We really went all out with these tenders. We're really excited about them. And I mean, just scrolling through these photos, there's so many options you could try to recreate on any layout, club layout, home layout, whatever it might be. I don't know if you'll have much for switching unless your little 060 needs a lot of water to keep it going, but it'll fit right in on any mainline excursion that you're trying to recreate. And that's probably one of my favorites, because those are two engines that, live together essentially in Oregon. And when you get to see them pair up together and create that, it's so cool. I love seeing, those double-headed steam excursions like that. So again, another great option for you to include onto your railroad.
All right. I guess, Tony, question: which paint scheme do you think is the most popular?
Oh, just in general?
So far.
I mean, of the stuff we've looked at, I'd have to lean towards Union Pacific, I think,
on the aux tenders.
Oh, on these aux tenders? Yeah. Well, the SP Daylight is so classic. Yeah. And I don't know if we got to see it, but the Chessie Steam Special one, that's a neat set. And Broadway's done the heavyweight set of Chessie Steam Special cars too. So, but I think that SP Daylight's pretty sharp.
Yeah, the SP Daylight, everybody's going crazy over. Definitely, a lot of people have interested in that. The CP one, I think, is interesting. I'm not sure if people know that it matches up with the 2816, and that's something I gotta definitely promote, because Rapido, they came out with the 2816. And that was like a huge release, because that was running with that was on tour through America.
The one that went Canada through the US and down into Mexico. Yeah. And
that was only 2 years or 3 years ago?
It was within about a year or so ago. It was the CPKC. Like I saw it in Kansas City when they brought the train through, that was kind of the ceremony for marking the startup of CPKC. So, and again, it's another one. I'm making a mental note of that too, Ken, that I haven't done the water tender news thing yet. And I had caught that there was a CP, but had not put those puzzle pieces together. So I got to mention that when I cover it for news. Yeah.
Yeah, it was very popular, and quite honestly, we sold out so quick, and Rapido sold out, and everybody still wanted that engine. It was just so popular and on the rails. Same thing like with the big boy. People they saw it traveling through America. So now you could pair that steam engine with the tender. So excited about that. That's a cool tidbit.
Yeah, and it's really cool. You're talking about people when they see something. I know, like for me personally, when I was 8 years old, my dad and I rode behind Challenger 3985. It had come to Chicago for an excursion, and that is a train that consists. I can mentally note in my head that, and I can recreate that on my layout at home or at my club layout, etc. Same thing. I rode behind Milwaukee Road 261, another steam locomotive in the Midwest, and that consist I have in my head, and I am slowly working towards recreating that consist. So it's a natural thing where people see what something on tour, like the big boy or something, and they want to recreate it because they have those memories, or maybe they rode behind one of those engines and they have those memories. And it's always nice to be able to have those memories live on your railroad in some way, shape, or form. And I think that was 2024 is what he was saying for the CPKC tour.
It's been 2 years. Yeah. Wow. The time goes so quick. Yeah. It seems like it was not long ago. Yeah.
Flying by.
Yeah.
One thing about those, order deadline about a little over a month and a half or so away. October 29th is your order deadline. And if you're going to look to pick up multiples of those, You don't want to forget and have to come back and try to see if Ken has any extras in stock to be able to fulfill your order, because they're going to be really hot.
Get those tendies.
Get those tendies, yes.
And I know you mentioned the lighting. Explain it's not powered, obviously.
Correct.
Right. It won't.
It's got track power. It'll turn on with track power, but it'll have directional lighting. So you'll be able to, when you go in reverse, the light will turn on, because technically they put that headlight on the rear of it because it's covering the tender's actual backup light. So if they ever are running it light and they are looking to kind of recreate or turn the locomotive around, I know like in Chicago when it came through going to Michigan, they had to turn it around because it had pulled into Union Station. So to have it face the other direction to go east, they had to turn it around on the Y and everything at 21st Street. But the tender and locomotive had to back up, and they used the headlight on there as a way to kind of, obviously protect and see when they're, turning around at night, and of course FRA rules and everything like that. But that will light up on track power and everything. So you won't have to program it or with a decoder or anything. When you set the locomotive in reverse, assuming it's facing, the right direction behind the 44, 49 or whatever locomotive you're using it for, it'll automatically turn on for reverse. So you'll still get that.
Very cool. Very cool.
Really excited about those. A couple other projects too, I can bring up really quick. I know a lot of people have been asking about the status of the Penzi S1. We expect those to arrive in October. So we're getting close to those, and we are 100% sold out. I know, Ken, you guys have probably been sold out on those too. That was the first painted sample we have gotten from the factory. It's just so cool looking, so sharp. We're really excited about those. But yeah, we are completely sold out on the Penzi S1. Ken, do you have any extras that if people are watching, they might be able to snag, or are you guys all sold out like us?
I think we started to deactivate some.
Okay.
So if you're interested, make sure you hurry. It did very, very well. A lot of people excited about this. Again, this is the first time in HO that I know of, other than I guess maybe Brass or something. But people super excited. I mean, this thing is going to be gigantic.
Yeah.
Well, it's bigger than the big boy, believe it or not. It's longer than the big boy. So it kind of gives you an idea of the size. I mean, the tender itself is huge. And then you've got the streamlined look. There's a look at the coal load, which looks fantastic. You can see the rubber diaphragm there too, between the locomotive and the tender. So you can see how that will connect. So you, just like the prototype, you'll have that, light steam. If you do want to run it on tighter terms, you might have to remove that. But anything above 22-inch radius, you'll be able to run with that diaphragm in there.
Nice.
But if you need to go on tighter turns, you probably should remove that, because it could possibly cause a little bit of damage, but nothing too bad though. But just so it'll easily navigate and you won't have any derailments of any kind. But they look fantastic. The paintwork on these is phenomenal. We're really, really excited about these models, and we're really excited for them to arrive. And they're arriving soon. Like I said, we're sold out. They are arriving in October. So if you're looking to try to get one, contact the Biancos and TrainWorld and make sure you get your pre-order in for those, because those are going to be really popular. And I know, like I said, we're completely sold out, but if there's any left, nab it while you can, because they'll be fully gone by the time they arrive for delivery. Yeah,
and it's a good thing Curtis mentioned something, because I looked and we're tight to the numbers. I actually just deactivated one right now because it's so close. And I know after the show, everybody's going to put in more pre-orders on it. So make sure you grab them. It's truly iconic. It's pretty remarkable. And I think you're doing the World's Fair version as well.
Correct. Yep. So that's the Penzi version there. The World's Fair version is it has American Railroads listed on it when it was on display at the New York World's Fair. And that'll be another one that will look prototypical. We do have a couple of other versions too, like a Tuscan Red Fantasy Scheme, for example, is one of them, which will look really nice. But for Penzi guys who are looking to have that just iconic bullet nose look. It just you just get blown away by just the styling of it from back then, and just really excited to see those come out. And we'll probably have another production run in the future, but a lot of people just love that iconic streamliner sort of look to it. So really recommend you consider getting in a pre-order if there's any left out there on TrainWorld's website to get one in.
And I love the story with the World's Fair. Like the World's Fair was kind of like the grounds of just bringing future and just futuristic stuff and what the world could be and make it a better place and a vision. And for this train to be there, I think is so incredible and remarkable, and there's just so much history, and it truly looks futuristic. Like just looking at it now in 2026, this thing looks like it's from the future. It really does.
It looks like something you'd see in a movie. Like it's so there's so many streamlined steam locomotives, but this one, everything about it is like just a bit more over the top. And it's unbelievable. Really cool.
Yeah, it is really cool. And one of the things about we were talking about again earlier about how the look of these models, when you're just looking at the detail and the design of what these engineers designed and how they thought this would be, perceived of the trains of the future, and trying to attract riders and everything during, the 30s and 40s. The really cool history about this prototype is that it could only run between Chicago and Ohio. I forget the Crescent, Ohio. Crestline, Ohio. Yes, thank you, Tony. Yes. So the history on this, that it could only run in a certain stretch, and there's been rumors and speculation about speed records and everything like that over the years, but it's so cool looking, and it's hold a lot of Pennsy passenger trains. It's not just the Broadway Limited. It's the so many different ones, the mail trains, and some of the other ones too. You go on some of the photos that the Pennsy Historical Society has, and we didn't put it on our model here, but we're considering it for future runs. They used to have a little placard on the top of the pilot, and it would have the nameplate of the train that it was hauling that day. So that was a cool feature that people recognize too. And at some point, the streamlining by the drivers was removed. The skirting on the side was removed a little bit, so you could see more of those details around the locomotive's wheels. Just overall, a really, really nice model. We're really excited for those. And I know that the Pennsy guys have been clamoring for an affordable S1 for quite some time, and to be able to deliver it. And the big one is what it's been known as around the office, is coming soon. So October is when it's coming in. So prepare your wallets, as the jokesters would say, and get yourself excited for these to come in.
Yeah, and someone, maybe Tony, you may know the history, so correct me if I'm wrong, but so the 1939 World's Fair, which is the item number for Broadway would be 4376. That's the World's Fair edition. And 1939 was the New York World's Fair, and this engine was too large for the tracks, so they had to put it on rollers. I think you're right. Something like that. I just Googled it. So I don't know if you guys know, or if anyone watching this, but I find that remarkable that it was just too large to get through the track system. So they had to put it on stationary rollers, but it was the New York World's Fair.
Wow. Yeah. And the wheel arrangement is really cool because it's a 6446. I think a lot of people, when they think of the big bore, the Challenger, it's like 4884, or, usually it starts with the smaller number and then goes to the bigger number, because you see a lot of big drive wheels. This is kind of the opposite. 6446 is not a very common, actually not very common at all, real wheel arrangement for these things. So it's just really cool. And I know a lot of guys are really excited for these. So again, I stress it enough. Make sure you get your orders in for these, because we'll be sold out. And how could you not want this on your layout, Tony? How could you not want that look? How could you not want it? That's what I have to say.
Tony, order one of each, Tony.
You don't have to be a Penske fan or a steam person. It is just such a cool machine that regardless, like if you're into trains, it's awful cool. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Oh man. Well, that was fun, guys. That was a lot to go through.
But wait, there's more.
Oh, there is more. You're right. I forgot about that. You are right. We do have one more to go through.
I was going to say, we haven't talked about the little yellow jacket. I
can't believe I forgot this because this literally ran near my house growing up in the 40s. I'm not from the 40s by any means, but I never got to see it. But it was definitely a presence on the C&W system. The yellow jacket here, you got a 3D print sample here. These locomotives are just so cool too. And another one of those things, like how could you not want it on your layout? This is another one of those, for me at least, as something that you look at and you're just admiring the work on it and the craftsmanship. I mean, there's a great look at the front with the piping details, the grab iron details and everything. Chicago Northwestern steam locomotives, something that we've just started dabbling into with this project. And I hope if you're a Midwesterner by any means, you pick one of these up because these are fantastic locomotives. They look great hauling any of your C&W passenger trains or even like commuter cars, because at some points during the later parts of this locomotive's life, they ended up pulling a lot of commuter trains. There was a big racetrack out in the northwest suburbs called Arlington Park, horse racing track, and they would have these trains going out, taking people to the races and then taking them back home into the city. So they were really cool, really well used along the C&W for their passenger power. And there are some unstreamlined versions too that we will probably have at some point in the future announced. But the details on this are fantastic, from the square coupler box on the front to the unique just profile of the steps up the side of the skirting. Just a lot of really cool things to look at on this model.
It absolutely is. And boy, it's yellow. We called it the yellow jacket. The yellow and green Northwestern paint scheme is really awesome for it. But I think it's really cool in that it's a streamlined, but it's a smaller steam locomotive. And right. I think that adds to the appeal of it as well, that it's not a big Northern or something gigantic. We're basically talking like a Pacific here, and yet it's dolled up like it is some big, Blue Goose or Dreyfus Hudson or something like that.
Right.
And it is a neat, that I think that makes it, even more kind of appealing is that it's a smaller, yet has that look of a big steam.
Yeah. And not only just the look of the big steam, but it's got just the profile of something from years past. And it's got that profile look of, I guess I just don't know quite how to describe it. It's just cool. Mm-hmm. It's just the best way to put it. It's just cool. And the C&W did not have very many streamlined steam locomotives. I mean, they had a few, but they didn't last very long because they went to diesels pretty quickly for their passenger power, especially the E units. They had a lot of E units hauling them, and then F units for their commuter trains. So while they did have steam locomotives for their passenger trains, there are several exceptions to what looks cool, at least in my mind, for when it comes to streamlined steam locomotives. And this is one of them that no matter what angle you look at it, you're just like, wow, I can't believe that existed.
Yeah. And this is HO scale. Is it die cast?
It's a brass hybrid model.
Brass hybrid.
Okay. Yep. So you'll be able to still get a really highly detailed model. And people will wonder sometimes, is it an all brass model? And that's not the case. The HO brass hybrid models, the hybrid meaning that there are some parts on the model that aren't all brass. So for example, the chassis on this locomotive is die cast metal. So you'll still have that weight of that, what you would get from a die cast locomotive. Some of the more finer detail parts, especially around the running gear, is usually plastic. The cylinders, the steam cylinders would be one of them, for an example. But a lot of the rest of the stuff that you see on there is brass. And because these are brass models, they take a lot longer at our factories because they're handcrafted boilers and tenders. So you have somebody that's literally spending the time to create the boiler shell from scratch, essentially, and they just turn out so well. It's literally a work of art that these come out to be. And I just can't get enough of these. You get a lot of lighting features on these too. You get the cab light the directional lights, you get the rear lights on the back, the little marker lights back there. So you got a lot of different options for these. And in terms of lighting features and paint schemes, you got some cool stuff there. But we also have some fantasy schemes. Seaboard is actually probably one of my favorite schemes that we're doing with this. There was a Seaboard streamlined locomotive, steam locomotive. We're probably not going to be able to do that because it was only a one-off in as an HO scale locomotive. So, but for this, you can have at least a close enough, fill in the gap of the market sort of thing here on these. And they're really, really cool. Really pleased with how these have been doing sales wise. And I know that for a lot of you who are looking to add some unique brass hybrid steam locomotives or streamlined steam locomotives, you really want to make sure that you get a pre-order in with TrainWorld because especially for some of these highly detailed steam engines, they go quickly. I know Ken will be able to tell you that for sure firsthand that they go really quickly. So make sure you get your pre-order in for these because once they're gone, they're gone. And usually for some of these more niche locomotives, they're produced once and we don't really have an idea as to when they'll come back unless they were super popular. So if this is on your radar for something you want, really recommend you get a pre-order in for these before the deadline or before they're built and before they arrive. So we will have hopefully some tooling samples and some painted samples in the next couple of months too. So stay tuned for that.
And this is a 3D print. I remember you sending me pictures of this a couple months ago. So have we passed the deadline yet on this one?
Yeah, the deadline has passed, but we still have a good number of extras available. So if you haven't gotten in your pre-order yet, you still have a good chance of getting the one that you want. But because of how quickly they go, once they get near the arrival time, you really want to make sure you get your pre-order in and reserve it. Especially with something like this, where it's really cool, it's really unique. It's kind of a one-off sort of locomotive that you don't really see come to the market before. Something that's as cool as this, you're going to want to make sure you reserve. Otherwise, you might be ending up looking on the outside, looking in like people might have been with the S1. Because the S1 was one of those where people have been contacting us if we're building extras, if we're doing a second run, and we're still focused on the first run. We haven't gotten to that point yet of determining that. So again, make sure you don't miss out. Go to trainworld.com, get your pre-order in, and enjoy and reap the benefits of having a highly detailed steam engine on your layout. Is that it now? Did I forget anything else, Ken? Or is that
sounds like a plan?
Okay.
I think we got to do this more often.
It's so much. Yeah,
we didn't even scratch the surface.
And
There's
I
a lot
saw
we did get to. Yeah.
I saw in the comments somebody asking about the big boy. Well, back up. We talked about the big boy early on.
Yeah, back up.
HON, West Coast, East Coast. The show's out on the TrainWorld YouTube channel. So yeah, you can catch up on all the stuff we already talked about. But it's incredible. There's such neat stuff.
Broadway is doing a lot of great things. HO, scale, new announcements, new tooling. It's a very exciting time to be.
Speaking of new announcements, we will have one on this week. Ken, you guys will find out on Thursday. And wow. For those of you watching at home, you will find out on Friday. I can give a little teaser. It's a new diecast diesel. So you're going to want to be keeping an eye out for those. I think you're going to be blown away once you see what these are.
Really?
Keep an eye out. You'll find out later this week. It's going to be an exciting one. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh,
yeah. And that's the thing with these shows. If you're not watching TrainWorld TV when this stuff happens, the stuff you learn on the details, like we found out about those extra lights on the CSX business cars, all the different functions, like the smoke unit, how it works on the in-scale thing. I wasn't aware of that. I'm going to get on my reviewer guy saying, have we talked about that? That I heard about this, and I don't know if we've talked about that. That there's so much you learn. And then, of course, I don't know, you get around me and Ken, and we get excited, and then these manufacturers will kind of spill things about they're working on, like this. Diecast?
Yeah. Wow. Tony is going to be up all night. He can't go to bed now, Curtis.
What is this going to be? I wonder what this is.
Tony wants to put it in Model Railroad News in the next month's catalog, so make sure you let him know.
Awesome.
You will find out. And Tony, I'm going to see you in a couple of weeks. And I'm assuming you're going to Spencer, are you?
I am not making it to Spencer.
Oh,
Yeah, the
no.
Spencer, North Carolina, White River's involved with that, with the North Carolina, the museum there at Spencer. The collection of all the America 250th locomotives will be on display. And
very nice.
I set up Curtis is going and some other folks, but Curtis is representing Model Railroad News. There.
Do I get a press pass and everything? Do I get like the top hat with the little press tag on?
No, I don't think they have that.
Oh,
but
dang.
But you're all set. So that should be a fun event.
I'm really looking forward to that. Thank you for including us. And if you're attending the event in Spencer, please walk up and say hi. We're not having any like show stuff like demonstrations or anything like that, or a table showing off models, but we'll be walking around. So if you see me, please do not hesitate, say hi, and we'll be happy to talk trains with you. So again, really looking forward to that. Tony, thank you again for the invite. We really appreciate that.
Oh, glad to do it. I knew you'd want to go.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Tony, what do you got in store for Model Railroad News, upcoming editions, and how could they subscribe?
Go to shop.whiteriverproductions.com, and I'm building November's issue right now. I sent October to press. The Challenger and all that news on the big boy is coming up from Broadway Limited. Always lots of Broadway Limited stuff. We just had the Fox River Northwestern unit was on the cover this summer with the F units to go with it, which I thought was really striking.
Loved that cover. Yeah.
Lots of neat stuff. ModelRailroadNews.com, or for all the White River products, shop.whiteriverproductions.com. And so appreciate you guys letting me join in and talk train stuff. Always love visiting with you guys.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun indeed. Thank you, Ken, for hosting us tonight too.
Yes.
Yep.
Thanks for taking time out of your day.
Thank you guys. Do appreciate it. And this is the website for the subscriptions and Model Railroad News. Tony does a great job, so make sure you check it out and get your subscription. I subscribe to it. I get my monthly magazine from Tony, and also I just got the G Scale, the annual. So
that just came out too. Yeah, the Garden Railway. Yeah.
So he covers all scales. No matter what you need.
Yeah, that's part of the other White River folks. Yeah, and Ken gets that special subscription like you get, Curtis, where I'm asking questions, sharing things like, "Hey, did you see this? Oh, look at that." So kind of that inside track.
Yeah.
It's a fun magazine.
Absolutely.
All right, Curtis, thank you very much. Great stuff on the Broadway products. So make sure if you're interested in Broadway Limited HO or N-scale products, make sure you put in a pre-order or grab it and stock it while it's lasts. Head to TrainWorld.com. Thank you so much. And if you're interested in great model train magazines, subscriptions, make sure you check out Model Railroad News. They do a great job, Tony. Always top notch over there. So make sure you head over there. And thank you everyone for joining. Do appreciate it. It was a long stream, but tons of great
stuff,
products.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
We only scratched the surface. So great stuff. We're gonna have to do this more often, guys.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot. Have a great night.
Have a great night, everyone.